Good.
Welcome to a new Draw My Life video. Hey there, TikTokers, and welcome to a new Scary Tuesday. Today, we're gonna make a video that you've been asking for a lot in the comments. The creepy...
What's poppin', guys? Welcome to my Draw My Life special episode for you guys that I'm going to draw for you right now. But first, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love and support during this whole entire journey. If it wasn't for you guys, I would be nothing right now. So thank you guys so much. I love you to death. So you're probably wondering where this all began. And as you guys see right here, that's me right there. Damn, I'm looking skinny. But that's me, guys. I was born on Valentine's Day, February 14, 1990. That makes me 29 years old. I have a beautiful mother right here, and I have a wonderful father right here, guys. And when I was 6 years old, my parents gave birth to my beautiful sister right here. Hey, sister! We were one big happy family, guys, and believe it or not, I was born in a time where there were no cell phones, there were no internet, it was just raw nature. Guys, there was nothing to do, there was no YouTube to watch. Oh my God. Life has changed drastically since I was born, and I'm very excited for the future. But even though there was no internet, no cell phones, no texting, nothing like that, there was still video games. Thank God. Okay, guys, there was still video games, and I saved up all my allowance, guys. I used to do chores around the house for so long just to try to get a Nintendo 64, because way back then, that was the...
I got a DS, guys.
Was the N64, and guess what, guys?
You passed over.
I finally got it. I was so happy playing Mario and Donkey Kong Racing. I just loved it, guys.
I want to play
who
Donkey
didn't
Kong
like
Racing.
it? My dad. He hated it, guys. I would play video games non-stop. 24 hours a day non-stop. And he used to tell me, get outside and play. Do not come back until supper time. You cannot be inside all day. It's not healthy. So outside I went, where I used to explore around in the woods, the train tracks. I used to go hang out with my friends and just build forts and just enjoy life, guys. And at this point in my life, I was happy. But during my childhood, it wasn't always so good because my dad was in the military. He was in the army, guys, so he used to always get moved around over and over, and we'd have to change houses all the time. And you know what changing houses means? It means trying to make new friends over and over and over again. As you get older, it gets harder and harder and harder to make friends, and eventually I just became shy, quiet, and I used to get made fun of on a daily basis. Everyone used to just laugh at me, and it just made me very, very sad. But eventually, everything turned around for me in grade 7.
Guys, when I was at school, this little boy told me I had a hole in my pants.
For more than like 6 months, and
I showed it up at school, and I said I'm gonna kill him.
Best friends.
And it's none of his business. And he sucks. And I'm a murderer. And I know where he lives.
Everything together. At this point in my life, I realized that I truly loved art. I love to draw, I like to write songs, and all my friends were going to art school, but my parents didn't let me, guys. I don't know why, but my parents took me and put me in the opposite school of all of my friends. I finally had friends, and my parents separated me from them. They put me in a big high school, and I knew nobody. I was completely alone, and I was really shy. If you're shy in high school, you will get made fun of so much, and that's exactly what happened to me, guys. It was impossible for me to make friends, and once it became established that I had no friends, I was not about to start getting them, guys. It would not happen, and I would get bullied over over and over and over and over again. The kids at school would beat me up, they would call me names, and then I would get onto the bus to go home, and then random people on that bus would pick on me and call me names as well. And because of this, I didn't want anything to do with school, and my report card reflected that very much, guys. I got like straight F's on my report card. All F's. I am not even joking, guys. And because of these bad grades and how I was skipping class all the time, my dad would constantly yell at me and ground me, guys. I was literally locked in my room without my N64, without a cell phone, without anything at all the time. And this made me extremely sad. My life became this weird routine of going to school, getting picked on, beat up, spit on, going home on the bus, having the same things happen. And because of my bad grades, when I got home, my dad would yell at me, spank me, and take away my TV or my video games and everything that I had. Literally everywhere I went was bad. School was bad, my home was bad. Honestly, at this point in my life, I felt super depressed and trapped. It was horrible. It got so bad that as soon as I turned 16 years old, I dropped out of school and I ran away from home. This was the only way out of this bad situation that I was in. And of course, if you're gonna run away at 16 years old, you're not gonna make a lot of money. So I went straight to the poorest neighborhood I could find. And this neighborhood that I ran away to was very, very dangerous, guys. It had all sorts of bad, violent people that did a lot of bad things. Eventually, I realized that I needed some money, or else I was going to literally be sitting on the street, homeless at 16 years old. So eventually, I got a job at Walmart. Of all places, Walmart was my very, very first job. Walmart gave me enough money where I could actually live on my own at 16 years old. And eventually, through working for Walmart, I met a guy who worked at the McDonald's in Walmart who had an apartment by himself who would let me move in with him. But of course, he lived in the worst neighborhood possible, and actually our house got broken into and completely robbed at one point. It was very, very bad. There was people on drugs there. It was very, very bad, guys. This was not a nice place, and I slept on his couch. He only had a one-bedroom apartment. Eventually, my friend convinced me to start selling some very, very bad things, and I ended up doing that for some extra money because I was 16 and I needed to live. Walmart doesn't pay a lot of money, guys, if you didn't know. Walmart actually found out what I was doing and I got fired from work. I had no more money coming in at all. So eventually, my friend who I was living with,
Fucking D-hole.
Cody, told me I had to move.
We know you also want Damascus, so if this video has a lot of likes, we promise to do it for the next Scary Tuesday.
And at this point, I had nowhere to go at all until my uncle and my aunt actually said that I could come there in London, Ontario and live with them if I promised to go back to school. So I accepted their offer and moved to London, Ontario with my uncle and my aunt. On my first day at school, I didn't want to get bullied or picked on at all anymore in my life. So I decided I gotta go into school strong. I gotta go there and I gotta just start a fight. First day, so people know not to mess with me. And I did that, guys. I got in a fight and I won. I actually beat him. But because of that, I actually got expelled from school. So I got kicked out and my aunt and uncle said I could no longer live with them. So I was back on my own and I went straight back to the worst neighborhood in the city because I had nowhere to go. I didn't have any money. This was the only place I could go. And since I had no money coming in at all, I had to go to this place that would actually give out free food. It was like a soup kitchen, guys. And at that point, after I ate, I left the building and I got robbed at gunpoint. They took everything I had and I barely had anything. I think they stole like some jewelry I had, some silver jewelry. I don't know. It was probably worth $20, but they held me up at gunpoint. So I was scared, so I gave it to them, guys. My life was so crazy. was left with absolutely nothing. Nowhere to go. I had absolutely nothing. And at this point, I was very, very sad. But I did eventually find a job and get an apartment on my own, but I had enough of it. Life was not good for me, guys. I was living in a bad neighborhood around bad people, so I had to get out. And my dad was in the army, so I decided I would go into the army just like my dad. And that's exactly what I did. At 18 years old, I signed up for the army. And the army was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. I met some amazing people that I built very strong friendships with, and I had some of the best times in my life ever, guys, going through boot camp and learning everything to do with the army. The army was great. I had so much fun. And finally, once again in my life, I was happy. After a while of being in the army, I realized there was something missing in my life, and I became more and more unhappy. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do in life, but I knew deep down that the army wasn't it. And since I wasn't following my dreams, I would cover this up by spending lots and lots of money. I would get credit cards and just spend. And then I would go out with my friends and I would drink. We drank all the time. I started drinking all the time. It actually got really, really bad. Until one day I finally fell in love. And after about a year of dating her, we moved in together. But eventually she told me she no longer loves me and she broke up with me, and my life spiraled out of control. I was so heartbroken. I began drinking every single day. Every day. Always drinking. I would just try to cover up the pain I had inside my heart, because deep down I loved this girl. I began getting in fights with people at the bar. I was seriously angry all the time, and eventually it led to me getting thrown in jail for 90 days. I had literally hit rock bottom in my life. This was the lowest of the low in my life, but actually this was a turning point in my life. After the 90 days in jail, I eventually got out, but the military did not like it at all, so they told me, "You're out of here, son. You gotta go. We can't have nobody in here that's going to jail. You gotta leave." At this point, I was 21 years old, and I know I wrote 20 years old, but I was 21 years old. I had nowhere to go at all. I had $50,000 in debt that I owed, no house, nowhere to go, a criminal record. So I decided for the first time since 16 years old that I had to move back with my mom and dad. But since I've been gone for so long, when I got back, I found out that my mom and dad had split up and got a divorce. At this point in my life, I decided that drinking honestly ruined my life. I could never drink again at all, and decided I would never drink again in my life. I started to read a ton of books about happiness, success, and I actually got a job at Costco and started paying off that $50,000 that I owed. And after years and years of saving every single cent I had, I eventually paid it all back. But I found myself in the same situation that happened in the army. I was not living my dream. I became super unhappy. I worked at Costco for 3 years and I hated every single day of it. The only good thing about that job was not only did I pay off all my debt, but I saved up $50,000. But at the end of the day, I was still very sad. At this point in my life, I found myself watching YouTube almost every single day, and I realized that that is what I truly wanted to do. I wanted to make videos. I wanted to be like my favorite YouTubers, PewDiePie, FouseyTube, Jenna Marbles, and Leafy is here. I loved all those channels, and I wanted to be like them. But I also realized I was never going to be happy working for somebody else who would tell me what to do every single day. I hated my boss at work, so I wanted to do anything to be my own boss. I went dumpster